Amanda Seyfried has never been shy about discussing the parts of her life that don't fit neatly into a Hollywood fairy tale. From anxiety to postpartum depression, the Oscar-nominated actress has consistently used her platform to talk about mental health with honesty and nuance. Now, she's opening up about another deeply personal topic, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and how what she calls her really extreme OCD may have played an unexpected role in keeping her away from alcohol and drugs during her rise to fame. A young star under intense pressure, Seyfried entered the entertainment industry at a remarkably young age. After working as a model in her early teens, she transitioned to acting with roles on soap operas like As the World Turns before landing mainstream success in Mean Girls at just 18. Overnight, she found herself in an environment where partying, excess, and substance use were often normalized, if not outright encouraged. For many young stars, that sudden exposure can become a slippery slope. But Seyfried says her OCD fundamentally shaped how she navigated those spaces. "I was really afraid of substances," she has explained in interviews, noting that her obsessive thoughts often centered on control, safety, and the fear of losing her mind. While OCD brought immense challenges, it also made the idea of drugs and alcohol deeply unsettling rather than appealing. How OCD influenced her choices. Obsessive-compulsive disorder is commonly misunderstood as being solely about cleanliness or organization, but Seyfried has long emphasized that her experience is far more internal and intrusive. She has described racing thoughts, intense anxiety, and compulsions that were driven by fear rather than preference. That fear, however, acted as a powerful deterrent. She worried that alcohol or drugs would amplify her anxiety, trigger psychosis, or permanently alter her brain chemistry. For a young woman already grappling with obsessive thinking, the unpredictability of substances felt dangerous rather than fun. In an industry where many peers were experimenting freely, Seyfried often felt out of step, but she trusted her instincts. "I didn't want to lose control," she has said. "My brain was already doing enough on its own." A double-edged sword. Seyfried is careful not to romanticize OCD or present it as a gift. She has consistently described it as debilitating at times, particularly before she found effective treatment. The disorder fueled constant worry, irrational fears, and emotional exhaustion. Still, she acknowledges that it inadvertently protected her in specific ways. Unlike some former child stars who later struggled with addiction, Seyfried built her career with relative stability. She showed up to sets prepared, avoided scandals, and earned a reputation for professionalism, qualities that helped her transition into more serious roles in films like Mamma Mia, Les Miserables, First Reformed, and Mank. That stability, she suggests, wasn't accidental. The importance of medication and therapy. Seyfried has also been candid about the role of medication in managing her OCD. She has said she's been on the same medication for years and has no intention of stopping, calling it life-changing. For her, treatment wasn't about dulling creativity or personality, a fear many artists have, but about survival and clarity. "I'd rather be sane than anything else," she once said, pushing back against the outdated notion that mental illness is somehow tied to artistic brilliance. Her openness has resonated with fans who see a rare example of a successful actress advocating for long-term mental health care without shame. Redefining healthy in Hollywood. Seyfried's story complicates the simplistic narratives often applied to celebrity wellness. Avoiding alcohol and drugs didn't come from moral superiority or perfect self-discipline, it came from fear, anxiety, and a disorder she never chose. And yet, the outcome was undeniably positive. By listening to her own mental health needs, she sidestepped many of the pitfalls that have derailed other young performers. Her experience underscores an important truth: coping mechanisms are rarely straightforward, and what begins as a struggle can sometimes offer unexpected protection. Using her voice for others. Today, Seyfried continues to speak openly about OCD, anxiety, and depression not because it's easy, but because she knows how isolating those experiences can be, especially for young people watching from the outside. She's vocal about the fact that success doesn't cure mental illness, and that vulnerability doesn't weaken credibility. In an industry that often rewards illusion, her honesty stands out. "I want people to know they're not broken," she said in various forms over the years. "Your brain is just doing something different, and you can get help." A complicated but honest legacy. Amanda Seyfried's reflection on her really extreme OCD offers a rare, layered perspective on mental health and addiction in Hollywood. It's not a cautionary tale or a triumph story, it's something more real. Her disorder caused fear, pain, and years of inner turmoil. But it also kept her cautious, grounded, and, in a very real sense, safe during one of the most vulnerable periods of her life. In sharing that truth, Seyfried once again proves that strength doesn't come from pretending everything is fine. Sometimes, it comes from acknowledging just how hard it was, and how you survived anyway.